Hey, bar is open, so let's review the Johnnie Walker Black Label Blended Scotch Whisky. Thanks for clicking on the video. SG Alcohol Guy here, giving you honest reviews on the alcohols that I am tasting. And as mentioned, today we'll be looking at the Johnnie Walker Black Label Blended Scotch Whisky. And I've previously reviewed the Johnnie Walker Red Label Blended Scotch Whisky, and honestly, I absolutely hated it. So here's hoping that with a slightly higher price point, the Johnnie Walker Black Label can redeem the Johnnie Walker brand. And while I can't remember the price exactly, I think the Red Label costs around 40 Singapore dollars, whereas this Black Label is retailing at 58 Singapore dollars. So almost 50% increase in price. And for that, you will be getting a whiskey that's aged for 12 years in a 70 cl or 700 ml bottle with 40% alcohol content. And before I begin, I also want to thank one of the viewers for requesting for this whiskey because I actually bought it and forgot about it. And as per all whiskeys, I'll be reviewing it in 3 steps. Step number 1, I will review it neat. Step number 2, I will be adding a couple of drops of water to the whiskey to open up the flavor a little bit more and to see how that helps the whiskey. Thirdly, I'm going to have it on the rocks. Depending on your personal preference, I like to use a ice ball, a solid ice ball. Some people use ice cubes, some prefer crushed ice. Again, there's no right or wrong way of drinking it with ice, just whichever you feel helps you enjoy it better. Enough chit chat, let's start the review. Now, usually I use a pourer to pour out the whiskey into the tulip glass or into the rock glass, but I didn't prepare it today, so I'm just going to pour and nurse the whiskey carefully into the tulip glass. Just a small amount. Oopsie, that's too much. And what I normally do is I tend to look at the color of the whiskey. And in this case, it's a very light, consistent, pale orange color of this particular whiskey. So it does feel like it'll have a consistent flavor. Also, when I pour it into a tulip glass like so, I will swirl the whiskey. Then I would like to see how long it takes for the legs to come down from the sides of the glass down back to the whiskey. For this Black Label, it's taking about 20 seconds, 25 seconds before it starts to leave the sides and go back to the liquid. So this means that there's going to be like a 20-25 second aftertaste, right? So there's a medium finish for this whiskey. Scent-wise, now please don't stick your nose into the whiskey glass and nose it. The alcohol scent would be a bit too overpowering. So just swirl it a bit and let the scent waft to your nose. Unlike the Red Label, this actually smells sweet. It doesn't have that, I constantly say this nail polish remover varnish smell that you get from the cheaper whiskies. This has a reduced version of that, so it already smells a little bit better. But let's find out. Taste test 1. Having the Black Label neat gives a very sweet yet rough texture. So the taste is sweet. I can taste the sweetness of this whiskey, probably a lot of caramel added. But it's a very nice sweet taste with a roughness on my tongue, a roughness on my throat. I can't call it layers, it's just the taste and texture, coming together in my mouth. And that combination of taste and texture for this blended Scotch whiskey is pleasant. This is a drinkable whiskey from Johnnie Walker. Adding a couple of drops of water to see how that opens up the whiskey. And if you're not, I'm using the same tulip glass that I had the first tasting with. I just want to see how that changes with some water. Adding water to it gave it a drier scent. It feels like the oakiness of the barrels came through. Not much else changed from the sweetness that I detected earlier, but it just comes out as a bit dry now. So let's see if that translates into the taste. And interestingly, the taste does match the smell. I haven't had that ever for whiskeys, if I remember correctly. It has that wooden, dry taste, you know, on your when you drink oaked spirits and wines as well. It has that taste, it has that feel, plus it's a hint of peatiness starting to appear. There's, you know, that smoky taste you get from some whiskeys. It's not pronounced, it's just a bare hint of it, but it's quite interesting. There's sweet, the dryness, and then the peaty finish. So it's actually quite an enjoyable whiskey to have with water as well. But let's see how it goes on the rocks before I give my verdict. Again, I'm using the balance from this tulip glass. I don't need too much whiskey. I am recording on a work night. I am recording on a work night. So I can't have too much because there's still work tomorrow. But letting it cool a little bit and letting the ice melt some more. So let's see how that affects the scent. Scent-wise, I can't smell much. The ice probably chilled the whiskey to the point where, you know, all the scents sort of got compacted, compressed, and it's just not coming out. But it might be different with the taste. So, taste test 3. Drinking it with ice removes the peatiness. It also reduces the sweetness of this whiskey. What you're left with is a mild sweetness with very dry aftertaste. A very long, dry finish. So it became a different character as opposed to when it was neat or even when just a little bit of water was added. I want to say that all 3 ways of drinking this is very enjoyable. It depends on how you like the whiskey. If you like it sweet and rough, neat. You like it a little bit dry and peaty with a bit of water. You like it dry. You like a dry whiskey, then have it on the rocks. For me personally, I think I would actually love to drink this neat. It has more texture compared to the other 2, and it's just more enjoyable overall. Hey there, thanks for watching up to this point. I just want to state that all these reviews are based on my personal preferences and opinions, not to be used as an industry standard. I do, however, want to find out what you think of the Johnnie Walker Black Label blended Scotch whisky. So drop me some comments. You know, let's compare some notes so that I can understand how you prefer to drink this whiskey as well. And if you're still here, do help me click on the like button. Do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, plus the notification bell, because I upload 2 new videos every week. Also, do share the video to your friends if you find that this is something they will enjoy. But most importantly, I have refilled my cup. Happy drinking.